We're just going along the Indie Megabooth, and we've gone drifting to Hyperlight Drifter with Heart Machine, and here with Alex.
Hello.
And so how did everybody at Heart Machine come together in development of this game?
I met Bo, who was my main programmer in the beginning, through Glitch City, which is a shared space that we have with a bunch of other independent developers. So it was kind of friends of friends, and I needed another programmer, and we knew him through Glitch City, and my friend Casey, he's been around, we're roommates, so I was like, hey, let's do this.
So what is the story of Hyperlight Drifter that we're allowed to be aware of right now?
You're running around a ruined world. It was war-torn 100 years ago, and it's ready to murder you at any turn. You're diving down deep to get lost technology and resources for the very last remnants of society.
So you're like trying to go into like a treasure hunter, but even more so than that.
Yeah, I mean, you're trying to help people out to a degree, and you're trying to find things that will sustain the society as best you can.
So, are there any specific inspirations on the world of Hyperlight Drifter?
There's tons of inspirations, but if we're talking about video games, I mean, just look at any of the great Squaresoft RPGs on the SNES, or even Link to the Past, stuff like that. You know, all those great 16-bit era classics were a big part of the inspiration.
Now, how do players traverse through the world? Is it just a level area, like more like go to this area and go to that area, or is it more completely open-ended?
It's pretty open. Things are sectioned off, but you're able to go where you want to go.
And how is the story told? Are there any cutscenes, or is there something else at play in terms of telling it to us?
The story is told through a lot of the world itself. So you'll be seeing little hints of the past, of what happened, and you'll get cues from the NPCs that you interact with as well through visual design, because there's no text in the game.
I've seen over here in the demo that your character has a few power-ups that he can use, a few weapons. What different abilities does he earn over the course of the game that you can tell us, and which one is your favorite right now?
So you'll get a lot of different weapons and items and stuff like that. My favorite right now is probably the railgun, or maybe the crystal spike, where you stab somebody and then you can walk away and use it as a remote mine, and it explodes them into crystals, a cluster of crystals that will also damage other enemies.
Now, you mentioned Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, and that game has a lot of combinations, both puzzle solving and combat. What's the balance going to be like in Hyperlight Drifter?
We're more adventure. We're not so into the puzzle stuff. There's going to be a little bit of that, but think something more like Dark Souls, where there's action, there's exploration, there's, you have to have the right things for some secret doors, there's secret hidden areas, whatever else. Not so much push block puzzles or like switches that you're pressing on the ground that will activate this thing, and then you have to go do that in 5 seconds, and we're not really into that stuff. That's kind of the stuff in Zelda that I don't really like that much. It gets tiresome.
Now, the music is being done by Disaster Piece. So how did you come about meeting him, and how has it been working with him?
A friend of a friend just hooked me up with him, and I said, hey, Rich, do you want to make music for this game? Showed him the Kickstarter before it launched. He's like, yep. And that was it.
That simple.
Yeah.
Nice. So what was your reaction to the overwhelming success of your Kickstarter? Like, there's a whole outpouring of support for it.
I was smiling a lot. Yeah.
That's that.
Yeah.
So what differences, if any, will be made for the different version releases? I know it's coming out to PC, Mac, Linux. It's also coming to Sony platforms, and Wii U is one of its last stretch goals. Are there any specific differences going to be made between them at all?
No, we're trying to keep it pretty much uniform across all platforms. We might look into some different features, but, I like the game to be consistent.
And speaking of release, when are we expecting to see its release or hear more concrete information about its release?
Well, we are aiming for maybe the end of the year, but it looks like maybe we'll probably do early 2015. It really depends. We want to take our time, and we want to do it right. We're not rushed for anything, and we don't want to release a bad game.
Okay, and will it be a staggered release, like with the PC first and Air versions, or?
I think we do the PC first, and then all the consoles at the same time. So we'd like to do it all at once if we can, and that's great. But if we have the PC release done first, then we will, because platforms take a little longer, because they have a certain process that you have to go through, a lot of validation and specific quirks. So, depends.
Thanks a lot. And Hyperlight Drifter is coming out soon, and get it, because it looks beautiful.